Hello guys, I think we're live now. Just gonna wait up for the signal. Right, shit, we can just hear a bunch of stuff, right? So how's everyone doing? I was just replying to a text message. Do apologize for that. Yeah, I hope everyone is doing okay. I'm gonna pause the music just so we can talk about what we're gonna do in this stream today. Yeah, first of all, welcome to another Friday night stream where we're gonna be doing some more C++. And as you can probably guess from the title of the stream, we're gonna be continuing to work on the Diablo source code. So we kind of got things a little bit better in the last stream. It wasn't very productive, if I'm honest, simply because we're trying to figure out a lot of code, and in the end we only managed to sort of abstract one or two functions from the very complicated inventory paste function, right? So today we're going to be doing some more of that work, and we're going to try and finish up the PR so we can actually push it as a request onto the Devolution X repository. And yeah, let's get started then. So as always, I've got my project opened up here. So I find actually it doesn't quite build yet because I've made a little change in the last stream that we didn't undo. I hope that you guys can see the code very well. Yeah, it seems like you guys can see everything. So yeah, I mean, so this is what an inventory paste function, which was the initial function, ended up looking like by the end of the last stream. So we have this sort of like, you know, you get item size here, and we get the target slot that's under the cursor. We do a bunch of checks here. I don't know what this is doing quite yet. This is what we're trying to figure out at the end of the last stream, but we didn't quite get there. So this is probably what we're going to tackle today, right? We're going to try and figure out this a little bit more, and then it looks kind of very nice at the end. So like we have just a switch case statement which checks whether you're basically pasting the item in the inventory, and then based on what it is, it will call the appropriate function. So if you're changing body equipment like armor, for example, or helmet, and you can see here, it will change the body equipment. And you know, it's the same for all the other ones. So if it's a two-hand item, it's going to change the two-hand items. If it's a one-hand item, it's just going to change the equipped item, which we may be able to kind of merge into the two-hand item, I think, or maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's looking good. It's looking a lot better than the start. I think we can all agree on that, right? One of the things that you might have noticed as well is that I've changed my look and feel here for Visual Studio. So currently we have a Kanagawa, I think that's the theme. I was getting quite bored of the last theme. It was just a little bit too dark for me, and the colors weren't kind of hitting me. But yeah, we're much better now. So yeah, I mean, let's kind of try and get started with it, right? So I'm not going to try and understand too much of the code today because I actually want to get some more stuff done. But we may inevitably have to understand this anyway if we want to simplify it. But the first thing I want to do is basically get this whole chunk of like kind of odd looking code, not really odd looking code, but we have quite a lot of like if statements inside if statements here, which is doing something to do with something to do with when the item is going to the inventory, right? That's what it says here. So if it's an unequipable item, that means it's kind of going inside the inventory somewhere, right? And we can see it here. So if it's unequipable, we change the inventory item. So I kind of guess this is doing something with the actual positions that, you know, you're kind of like hitting when you paste an item, but we don't know quite yet. What we do know is that out of all of this code, we kind of get a change value for this IT thing here. So IT, I think, is just the item. Currently, I believe this is kind of like the item ID. So the ID of the item that's kind of inside the inventory list. But I'm not too sure. That's what we're going to figure out, right? And if we take a closer look here, if I const this, you can see that it's actually only changed in these 2 places down here, right? And it's only ever used after that change down here. So if we look at IT here, we can see that it's only ever used in there. In fact, this is somewhere we can use a find references functionality here of VS Code. You can see that it's only used in here, obviously in check overlapping items, and also in here. So it's only down there, right? So what I think it's safe for us to kind of grab this branch, this if statement branch here, and put it into a function, right? Because out of all of this, we get a new value for IT, and that's kind of what we get. This song is just not hitting, guys, just not hitting at all. There you go, I can turn it down here, and then I can turn it up for you guys. There you go. Just to make sure I can actually hear myself, right? I'm not sure if I'm like actually... if the stream is actually working, I don't know. Just to make sure I can actually hear myself.
Yeah,
right?
I can hear
sure
myself.
If I'm like actually... Cool, yeah, so we do have the stream working. I just, quite rare, I don't see anyone in the chat, so if anyone's watching this, welcome. Just gotta validate that I can actually hear myself on stream. But yeah, I mean, let's begin by doing this. So we need to take all of this here and put it into a little function, right? Because this is what's gonna create us the IT here. So this is what's gonna change that value for us. So yeah, let's just do exactly that. We're gonna go up here again. We don't know exactly what name we're gonna give to this function, so we don't know that at all. Some function name. We don't know which kind of like arguments we're going to need. We're just going to kind of paste the code here. Make sure that we have indented properly. So the first thing we need is a slot, right? So const int slot right here. What else is complaining about? The player, right? So we need a player const player reference. Can it be const? That's what we're going to find out. Yeah, it can be const in this case. In fact, we should probably, we've done this before as well. Oh yeah, they're all const anyway. All these players, except this one. The change bell item does actually change the player. And so does the change inventory item. But not the get equipped item and not the check overlapping. Okay, cool. Yeah, so what else do we need? We need the IT now. This is what we're going to return, right? So the IT here was a const int 80, right? So it was literally returning a byte. Again, we are not writing Rust. Day of Redemption, good evening, mate. How is your evening so far? Better now, Day of Redemption, now that you're in here, dude, and I'm not just talking about myself. But yeah, man, it's been good so far. Just same as usual, working every day, working until maybe 6 today. It was still a long day for a Friday, to be honest. Usually on Fridays we get to finish early if there's no work, but I had to do a release of our software, so we worked a little bit harder. And then we made some food, made some pasta, and then we're here now, dude. What about you, dude? What have you been doing today? How was work? How's been your week, actually, right? This is the end of the week, so yeah, we're gonna be returning that int 80 right here. And IT is what we're gonna be returning, so item something. Like, we need to find out what this variable is actually doing, by the way, because I have no idea. But yeah, find a better name for item for this. Right, and then we can do here item something there, item something here, and then item size is another one that we need to pass in. Day Redemption, same old, good, yeah. A week was annoying like usual. I'm having a rough patch right now. Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I mean, I understand, you know, when you have a rough patch, sometimes it feels like, you know, it feels a bit depressing, so you don't want to do anything, but just keep on doing it, mate. But you motivated me to start streaming myself, and now and then, dude, yeah, share your stream here. Put it on the Discord. I'm not sure if you can post the link here, but I'm happy to let you kind of advertise it now, dude. And yeah, let me know when you're streaming. I'll watch it myself. I'll make sure that at least give it a like and increase your viewer count, right? That's all you need. But yeah, man, that's an amazing way to learn coding, actually. Like, stream that shit. Basically, streaming is gonna force you to, well, essentially just code in front of people and to get things done, right? Because if there's one thing I've learned, is like I can learn quite fast actually on stream when there's people who are willing to kind of help me figure things out. So yeah. So item size is something else that we need here. What's the item size? Get inventory item size. What's that returning? That's returning a size. Okay. So size const item size. Thanks, mate. We'll do. As soon as my self-confidence will rise. But thanks for that. Yeah. No. Yeah. Honestly, man, it doesn't. You don't have to be super confident to stream. As you can probably tell, I'm not, and I stumble on my words quite a lot. Sometimes I have to sort of like stop to think what I'm going to say. People still watch me. You know, it's still fun. And if you do it consistently, man, you're gonna get more people and more people watching every time. I mean, you should have seen this channel months ago when I had literally just like maybe one person every like 3 streams watching me, and it was mostly just talking by myself. But you know, we're doing a little bit better now. There's at least one person in every stream. So yeah. Check overlapping item size. Item size and IT, right? Ah, okay. So this one has to be... This one has to be item something, right? Now, obviously we've changed all of this, so basically what we have here is like... Ah, okay, let me see something. So this is actually doing an early return, which means this should probably be like an optional or something. I'm going to pass it in as an optional now. So std optional of uint t, because if I return a stud null opt here, oh what the hell? If I return a null opt here, and obviously I probably should include optional, yeah, which is already there. That's great. And if we go through here, we can return simply the item something, right? What's the issue here? Type name is not allowed. It's just no opt, sorry. Day of Redemption, I enjoy your streams and try to contribute to them as much as possible. Just keep up the motivation, mate. Thank you, man. Thank you. You know, I get more motivated when people actually seem to be enjoying it, to be honest. I mean, there are certain streams that I do where I know it's quite boring for the viewer to watch, just because, you know, last stream, for example, is a prime example of that. It's quite interesting at the start when you're trying to set up the environment to do some like C++ programming on the DS, but as soon as we get stuck for ages, I know it becomes boring because I know the view count goes down by a lot. But you know, it's part of programming. Like this is what we're here for. The intention for this channel is to show programming as it is, right? So King Hader, how are you? What are you up to today? Hello, King Hader. We're doing some C++, dude. We're continuing to work on the refactoring of a Diablo 1 big function, and with luck, we're going to finish it today, and we're going to post it on the as a an actual pull request on the Devolution X Git repository, right? So how are you, King Hader? What have you been up to this week, man? We're just talking about how your guys' weeks and stuff. Mine's been the same old. I guess the same for Day of Redemption. I want to hear something about you, dude. Right, so we return no locked here, which means we can now kind of call this, right? So if it's unequipable and we call the sum function name, what do we pass in here? Pass in this law, and then we pass in the player, and then we pass in the item size here. And that's obviously going to return something. Okay, so maybe I keep that there. So if this is a no locked, we're simply going to return, right? Fast return. Always return. That's one of the things I can tell you guys. So when you have a function that's like very long, like this one, and you have certain like early return points, or maybe you have some inputs that will cause the function to kind of fail, right? It's always good to fail straight away. So fast failing is good, because when someone looks at your function and they look at something like, you know, if this function here returns a no opt here, so an invalid value, we're going to return. But if you don't do that, you're going to have to do it down here, which means you can possibly run unnecessary logic, as well as, you know, making the function a little bit harder for people to read, because their eyes will be going through like more lines of code. So yeah, not much, just hanging out with friends. Nice, King Hader. So what do you usually do with friends? Did you play sports? Do you play games? What are your hobbies, my man? In fact, now that you're saying that, dude, makes me feel a little bit nostalgic, chilling with my friends, because I've not actually got to chill with the boys in a long time, you know. Usually, we used to, you know, get some friends around, some school friends that I have, maybe every year, and then we you know, sit down on the sofa, just eat some like pizza or something, and play games for the evening, have a few drinks as well. But you know, I think everyone's been busy in the last few months, so I've not gotten to do that. So yeah, what I'm saying is, like, enjoy that time. We play a game called Domina. Nice, Domina. I'm gonna look it up now. Is it a Domina game? What is it? Domina is a gladiator simulation game developed by Big Nick and released into early access through Steam. I'm interested now, dude. It contains nudity, so maybe I won't be looking at it on the stream. But it looks interesting. So you just like, what, build your armor and then get him to fight other. You build your army and then get him to fight other armies, I guess. That sounds very cool, though. It sounds like a very good idea, actually. Kind of like tower defense-y, but I guess it's a little bit different, right? It sounds really cool. Yeah, so if it returns false, we do that, and if not, we set it to this. And then we can remove all of this, because we have no need for this anymore. We just like old quiet games. Yeah, I do too. Do you know what I do, actually? I have a Raspberry Pi 4, which is running RetroPie, right? So RetroPie is like an emulator, sort of like front end for the Raspberry Pi, and I have so many ROMs on this. I have like ROMs for PlayStation, like Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, and that's what we play when we sit down and play games. This is the kind of shit we play, dude, and it's really fun. It's really, really fun. Yeah. But that's what I have here. It's actually, I'll show it to you right now because it's up here somewhere. This is what it looks like. I made this little machine here into an emulation box. I'm not sure if you can see it, but yeah, it's really worth it if you want to buy it. it is fun. It is really fun. But as I said, I haven't been able to play this in a long time, long time. And I'm actually missing some screws here on this. Oh yeah. Anyway, let's go back here. By the way, if you're watching this stream, please give it a like. It might advertise it to more people if you do so, and I appreciate it very much. So thank you guys. Yeah, so now the function kind of looks like this now, so a little bit simpler, right? So there's lots here. We find this lot on the target cursor. I'm not even going to touch this function because I don't want to touch this function. There's too many comments and too much maths here for me to understand. So I'm going to leave that as it is. We have the desired location, which is get item location, and this just gets the item location given the item. So for example, what does it do? What does this do? Okay, so it literally just returns the I location here for the item, unless it's a barbarian, then it does some extra logic. Okay. Look, I'm going to change this a little bit again. As I said, we want to return early, right? So let's put all our kind of checks that will fail up here, right? So if we do if the item location is ilock bell, and if can be placed on belt, and if it can't be placed on the belt, then we return here, right? So that's the first like fail fast thing that we have here. So where's IL? IL is going to be up here. So let's put it together where it actually gets used. And then this one here is done, right? So location bell, player hood item, right? So that one is done. Now let's move this other one here to an if statement as well. We're just gonna copy and paste it up there. And if the desired location is not equals to IL, item location, then we return. So if, in other words, we're requesting to kind of place an item somewhere that is not the location of the item, then we can also return, right? Slim, yo, hello Slim, how's it going, dude? So yeah, we're gonna put this here for now. But it does kind of mean that if the item location is unequipable, then we do that. Yeah, as I said, you know, this does have to mean the item location IL is not ilock unequipable, and this is also true, right? So in other words, yeah, okay. Then we can get rid of this one, I think. Now you can see that this makes it a little bit easier now, right? Because we are no longer changing IT anywhere, except here. So Slim, how is it going, dude? Just asking everyone how their week has been. How is work going? Have you had a busy week like me at work? I mean, I was working I was working literally for like 11 hours for some of these days, dude. It's crazy when we have a release at work. In fact, for the other guys watching this that may not yet work as a software developer, just be expected to work a little bit harder when you have a release. So whenever I've worked and they've kind of had like, oh, there's a project that finishes on this day and we're going to deliver it on this week, the week before the release is always crazy, because you'll be running loads of tests and you'll be asked to fix things urgently, and it's a bit stressful, to be honest. It's a little bit stressful, but it's part of the job, isn't it? So thanks for the tips, man. Yeah, no worries. Not really a tip, it's just telling you what to expect, really. But so if the item location is not the same, wait, does this ever happen? 1 second. So if the item location is unequipable, what is that? That's just anything that you can't equip, right? Any item that you can't equip in the inventory. And if it is unequipable, then we do this. We do this some function name that we want to name this function. We want to give this a much better name, but we don't know what to call it yet. Slim, by the way, O++ or Crow? What's better you found? Crow doesn't work with easy package. Yeah, I found that as well. I think that's to be honest with you, I think I picked O++ because I don't think it was in a Conan repo. I may be wrong here. Let's have a look at the Conan Center. Yeah, no, Crow is on the Conan Center though, so it may not be on VC package, but you may be able to use it on Conan. I mean, it says it's here, but then it says it's probably not compatible with Conan 2, so I don't know. But what I found is the following, Slim. O++ is good, and it's fast, right? It does what you want it to do, and the binary size is really tiny. However, it's difficult to use. Like, you're going to be reading a lot of documentation to write your first application. So yeah, Crow, I don't know. I don't know about Crow. I do know that there's Dragon. Dragon sounded like a good one because it's very similar to the Rust web frameworks. So you might enjoy this a little bit more. And it's very like, you can pass in lambdas to handle endpoints and stuff. So give this one a try. I think this one might be the one for you, dude. Dragon. It is the most popular one as well, I think. Or yeah. King Hater, honestly, I don't expect much from this programming world. I only do it because I like it. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way, King Hater. That's a really good way of going into it. So I see a lot of people like who ask me to, you know, how to get into programming, how they should start, what kinds of projects they should start to, you know, get their first job. But yeah, I see very few of them actually doing it just because they like it, to be honest. I think some people just expect to get into programming and start getting paid like £100,000, $100,000 in a few years, and it's not how it works. I mean, it is good pay. Don't get me wrong. It's better pay than most jobs out there. But if you're doing it solely for the money, then you might find it boring and you're not going to enjoy it. So the best way to approach it is like just to do because you like it, and then eventually, if you get a job in it, if you get like a good pay in it, then that's a plus, right? You know. Oh man, competition is very strong. Yeah, it's strong, dude. But like, there's always something for someone, right? As long as you're looking, as long as you're like improving yourself every day. You know, doing some extracurricular activities. Maybe you have like your own projects and stuff like that. You're gonna stand out. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, try and stand out. If you can stand out just a little bit, you're always gonna find a job. But yeah. Right, some function name. We need to figure this out. We need to give figure out what some function name should be called. Ooh. What the hell? Yeah. And then let's go down here. I was just looking at this logic here because this logic is a bit funny to me. Because this logic says that if the item is a belt and if it's a belt item and it can't be placed on the belt somehow, then obviously it has to return, because this doesn't make any sense, right? It's saying that we put the item on the belt space, but it's not a belt item. Okay, so if it fits, it checks that it fits, the item fits on the belt. If it's just a one space item, the item type is not gold. And if we can use the item, it can be put on the belt, right? Oh. Can use the item, strength of the item, minimum damage, okay, cool. And is usable. Wait, what? Okay, so if the player can use, never mind, yeah, it checks that the player can use the item. Yeah, this is just checking the player's stats, so the player strength is more than the item minimum strength and whatnot. And that the item is usable as well, right? Yeah, cool. Yeah, but this kind of makes sense. This one is the one that kind of is throwing me off a little bit. Because if the item is unequipable, and the desired location is not the same as the item location, yeah, this is crazy. Carlos, hey Carlos, man, how is it going, dude? How was your interview, man? Did you hear it back? Have you got the job yet? I'm rooting for you, dude. I hope that you get that job, man. I'm sure you aced the interview. And yeah, welcome back to another Friday night streaming, dude. We're gonna be here for a long time today, so I'm only gonna go to sleep when I finish it, basically. Yeah, because this check was initially down here, right? This check was initially right here as an else if. So 638, and then we had, oh, wait, what the fuck? What did I do there with him? I have no idea. So it was in 638 down there, and it was else if. That's what it was. And we didn't have this bit. And I kind of feel like I broke that logic. That's why I'm like double checking this basically for you guys. I don't want to break the logic here. But it's the following. If the item is unequipable, then it does this, right? If the item is not unequipable, and if the desired location is that, then we return it. My point is, how does this work? Because take, for example, the interview went well, waiting for their final decision. It's still just 3:30 here, so I have time to chill to the end of the end. That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, let's hope that you get a good call, man. So 3:30. I guess you're in America somewhere, right? Time in America, or is it Mexico? Oh, it must be Mexico somewhere. Oh no, maybe in Chicago. I don't know. But I guess that's south. That's the American continent somewhere, right? Over the Atlantic. Oh yeah, Belize. Yeah, of course, Carlos. You're in Belize. For some reason, I think on the other stream I thought you were in Mexico, so I do apologize for that. That was kind of embarrassing. But CST, cool. You know, sometimes, like, because I'm from, I guess because I'm from Brazil, and I like to guess where people are from, and sometimes I guess it wrong, and it can kind of sound racist, and I promise you I'm not racist. Yeah, I don't know, like, what the hell do we do here? what the hell do we do? Do we leave this here? Like if we take this out as just its own if statement, we kind of have to put that the item isn't unequipable. And the desired location, what's the desired location? Player get item location, right? What is that? So returns item location taken into consideration barbarian's ability to hold 2 items in one hand, right? So this for the most part is the same as iLog, item iLog. It's cool, a lot of Northern Belizers were born in Mexico by our facilities, so technically most of us are Mexican too. Yeah. I mean, it's the same, like, same in Brazil as well. Like, we border, like, Paraguay, for example. And in that place where there's the border, right, Paraguay, Uruguay, people just go back and forth those places, like, you know. I guess the borders are kind of a lot more open than, like, not Europe, for example, but like the US. You know, if you border the US, you can't just go into the US easily. My house is like 30 minutes away from the nearest Mexican hospital. That's cool, dude. Good facilities, right? You get a nice hospital 30 minutes away. I hope you don't have to use it, by the way. I hope you're healthy as hell. But it's good to know that you've got a hospital near you, at least. Right. Yeah, so desired location. Desired location is just the same as the item location, right? So if we look at IL, get item equip type, is that item lock. And we have that table, nice little table that we wrote. We don't really want to kind of use this, but here it is. And what type is this? This is item equip type. Oh. So what is this slot? So if this slot is that, we're taking... Oh, this slot is the one under the cursor, right? So get item equip type takes the desired location as well. Okay, cool. So these two should always be the same. I don't see how this can ever be here. How this logic can ever be here. Best part about being third world is we consume so much organic food, we don't normally get sick. The Mexican hospital is just for reference. Cool, yeah. That may be true, yeah. I mean, when I lived in Brazil, dude, I never got sick of eating the food from the streets. And we have like people doing barbecues, selling barbecues. I guess it's kind of the same for you guys, but I don't know what type of food you have on the streets. We have these nice little things called pastels as well. I used to eat it all the time. And don't get me wrong, the food hygiene in the street food places isn't the best, but it's also not the worst as some of the videos you see online from other countries, right? But yeah, this is what I used to eat all the time. It's like one of my favorite street foods in Brazil. It's really good. This is what we also had in Brazil, like people just selling barbecues like this on the streets. So and like I never really got sick as far as I know when I was young. But if I do that now, if I go to Brazil now and have street food all the time, I will get sick though. I get sick very easily now, just because I'm used to, I guess, not eating that type of food anymore. So yeah. Street food here is mostly tacos, burritos, tortas. A lot of Mexican influence. We also have a lot of barbecue. Cool, yeah. You have carne asada, right? Carne asada. Tortas. Well, tortas in Brazil is like pies. I'm not sure if it's the same. What are tortas in Mexico? Let's have a look. Or in Belize, right? Oh, so tortas are like sandwiches for you guys. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, so if you look at Brazilian tortas, they are literally just pies. So it's even though it's the same word between Portuguese and Spanish, it's quite a different food, I guess. That's cool. That is cool to know. Yeah, so basically, what I'm trying to get to here is that the get item location and get equip item, they should always be the same. I don't see how they would ever be different. Oh no, because that returns the item location. Ah, okay, I see this. So item location, but I've been zoning out here. Tortas are basically burgers. Our main dish here, though, is stewed chicken and rice and beans. I could eat it every day. Stewed chicken? Oh yeah, stewed chicken. We have that in Brazil too, dude. And I do like it if it's the same. We kind of have this. I'm not sure if it's the same. Oh yeah, we do. We do eat it with rice and beans as well in Brazil. But I guess we have different beans. We have these ones here. So pinto beans. That's what we eat in Brazil, and it's delicious, man. I miss it every day. Like I actually found a place here in the UK where I can buy like bags of these beans, and I have a pressure cooker now where I can just make these beans whenever I want. So. And yeah, it feels good, man. It feels good to have home food. Maybe one day, Carlos, if you ever move out of a bit. Or black beans for rice and beans though. I'm planning on moving to the US by the end of the year. That's cool. That's cool. Colors. You know, wish you all the best, man. US is a good place to earn some cash, right? To work hard, to live that American dream, I guess. I have a cousin myself that lives there, and kind of lost contact with him really, but he seems to be having a good life now, so I'm happy for him. And it seems to be a country with a lot of opportunities, right? Which is kind of, I'm not sure if it's the same for Belize, but at least in Brazil, you could be like a really good hard worker, like an amazing programmer, but you're still not going to get the same opportunities as someone who is kind of working in the US or the UK. This song is from a sick anime. Yeah, it is. It's what's it called? Spirited Away, right? Yeah, Spirited Away. That's the one. I do like it. So Slim, if you like Studio Ghibli, right? So which film should you watch? Do you know what my favorite one is? My favorite one is this one here. It's called Howl's Moving Castle. And the voiceovers here is perfect. First of all, Christian Bale. Christian Bale does the main guy. Just put it that way. Soundtrack, incredible. The visuals, amazing as well. And the storyline is incredible. So if you haven't yet seen it, watch this, dude. So yeah. Howl's Moving Castle by the same, same company, Studio Ghibli. Belize is trash. We have 2 tech companies here. 2. They require bachelor's degrees for a WordPress developer. What the hell? What the fuck? Yeah, that's too much, man. Sword Art Online, I think. Oh no, yes, Slim. That anime I don't know if it's in Sword Art Online, but it's definitely from Spirited Away. It's the original soundtrack for it. So you're saying Sword Art Online is your favorite one? I've not yet seen Sword Art Online, but yeah. But anyway, the soundtrack that just played is from this film here, 100%. Alright, going back to code now. Going back to code. Actually, going back to test that shit, right? Make sure we haven't broken anything. Sorry for the high volume, I guess, but let's see if we can still load items and shit. So inventory, drop. Okay, so are we being able to paste things everywhere? We've broken something. There you go. We broke something. Look. This is not meant to happen. This is not meant to happen. Now the question is, when did we break this? Where's the item now? The item has disappeared. So I'm gonna start undoing code. Yeah, we broke the overlap code basically, which is kind of not good. So it's just when it overlaps basically. When the items overlap, it breaks. Like we still have this one here, but if you put it completely above the other one, it overrides the spaces and it just doesn't swap them, right? That's what we're seeing. Right. So yeah, let's figure out. Now the thing is, can we figure out where we broke it? This is going to be difficult. My guess is that it's probably here. This is where things broke. And it's definitely not this. Definitely not that. IT. A good thing we can do is just check the Git history and see like if there's any obvious changes that we made that will tell us what we broke. Okay, this is here. So this is what we changed so far. So we added ranges at the very top. We don't need that. So we added const to the body stuff. I don't think that would have broken anything. Change inv item. Yeah, we added that, and then we also. Yeah, maybe this is the breakage. Maybe this is why we broke things. So I think the only thing that we've kind of broken is like where we get the item in a hold item, right? So there you go. So kind of where we have. Now it's interesting to figure out whether we broke moving an item into 2 items simultaneously, right? Because the logic is you can only override 1 item usually. So these two. If we do this, see, this is still working. It's just when we move it completely into one item here. So the only thing that's kind of missing right now, it seems to be the bit where we swap the item. So nothing is going to my hand. And yeah, let's go. Do you have any rules or guidelines for your commits? I just try to make the message a bit simple and explain what I'm trying to do in simple words, basically. Yeah, and if it needs to be anything kind of bigger, then I use the good old thing where, you know, let me actually teach you something, right? We can make this into a short. So on Git, if you have something, a commit like this one, right? And it's a very big commit, so you have to explain a lot of things. So if you do a git diff, there's a lot of things here, right? And you want to explain what it is. What you can do is you can add it. You can add the file. When it comes to committing, you can hit commit M and then start typing a message. So at the very start, I would say put a short summary here. So refactoring parts of check inf, paste into functions, right? And then whatever you have to explain after this goes all in here. And you can put markdown in here, you can put whatever you want. So just make sure that you don't close the string here, you don't close the message here. So yeah, make sure that you don't close the message here with another quotation mark. Type a few enters and then hit your very big explanation here, right? Why do I do that? Because when you actually, if you put some markdown here and then some more messages, when it comes to creating the PR out of this, so once you've pushed it, when you create a PR on GitHub, it automatically takes the commit message of your first commit or your latest commit as the PR, right? And if you've done it like very nicely, it's just gonna be automatically done for you there. So it's less work for you to do. But I guess that the rule is just keep your commit simple and make sure that you're explaining what you're actually doing. And if there's any outcomes that need more explaining, you can put it down here on the longer message, right? That's all. So if I do a git log, of course, I can only see, well, I can see the whole thing here. So yeah. But yeah, the short bit at the start is what's going to show up on GitHub commits, basically. So yeah. Let me reset everything now. Because I don't want to commit that. And here's another tip. You can use git reflog, right? Git reflog keeps the history of all the changes that you've made locally on your Git repository. So if, for example, you've made a commit that you didn't really want to commit, you want to delete that commit, all you have to do is just to look for the bit where you committed that, so here, and move in before that. So find the commit here, find the SHA before the change that you made, and simply do a git rebase hard on that, right? Oh, sorry, I missed the commit. So it's git reset hard, and then the SHA here. So now you can see that if I do a git status, my file should be there, right? Or maybe not, maybe not. I've gone too far, you see. I have gone too far. Yeah, so I've undone that commit essentially. I didn't want to do this. What I wanted to do is just to get the commit undone. So let's try again. So git reflog. I simply committed the wrong thing. So this is it, right? I want to go into here. Yeah. So if we do git rebase or git reset hard there. I should have my changes back now. Oh no, not yet. Oh yeah, never mind. I mean, in this case, because we have an actual commit, I forgot about that. You can do a soft reset. A soft reset just kind of undoes the commit and then keeps the changes. A hard reset is for when you absolutely want to go down to a state. So like if you want to get rid of the commit and its contents, for example. But anyway, yeah. So if we go into the commit right here, so are we there? as always. Now we have git log here, and we have our changes back, right? We should have our changes back. Check inv items. There you go, we've got some function names, so we've got the changes back. And what we can do is, I guess we can do a soft reset. If I'm not mistaken, it's just git reset to this, right? And there's a now bring me the files, so git reset soft. Oh, sorry. It has to be the one before that, of course. And there you go. Now I have that commit like undone. So you can see that my head now points to commit that was previous to the one I wanted. And I also have the changes still here. So they're still here for me to kind of redo the commit if I want to, right? So yeah, I definitely need to brush up on my Git. Yeah, I mean, it's nice, it's nice. As long as you know the basics, dude. Like the more complicated stuff you get with experience anyway. So Git always stresses me out. Yeah. It stresses a lot of people out, dude. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I mean, we were looking at the bit where it changes the inventory item, right? So check overlapping items. So check overlapping items is not... Wait, what does it actually do? Check that the item we're passing or pasting only overlaps one other item. Yeah, so this still works because we checked this and it still works fine. What doesn't work is the bit where I paste into the inventory, right? So this one here. So this is what we gotta come on. Let me build it again. Make build, and we're gonna run it again. I'm gonna see if we can debug what we broke. Simple as that. Why does it feel like we've been streaming for 2 hours? It's only been like an hour, if even that. By the way, if you guys are still watching this, please like the video. I would appreciate if you can do that. Just gonna advertise it to more people. I need to do like a giveaway at some point, man. Whenever I get the channel a little bit bigger and I can actually spend some money on it without coming out of my paycheck too much, then I'll do you guys a nice little giveaway. Alright, so let's run it and then see. So we are going to hit that breakpoint that we put there anyway. We should anyway. Okay, so now this is the issue. 2 items. No. 1 item? Yeah. So we're putting the item completely over another item, right? So this is the problem here. So let's see. So the item size is going to be 2 by 6 or 2 by 3, sorry. So it isn't a gold item, which is good. And the player inventory list is hold item.pop. And now let's check this out. So the inventory list, which contains all the items, inventory grid cells. Oh yeah. Pnum inventory. What is pnum? I think, are we missing out a... So we pop the item into pnum end list, right? Player plus previous IT. What is that? That is the previous IT thing that we set out up there. So if the previous item is not 0, or if it is 0, ah, okay, so this is not right. Okay, so it's just been broken because previous IT is 0 here, right? And it's not meant to be 0. What is it meant to be? It's meant to be something. Yeah, it's meant to be this. So why is this returning me 0? That's a good point. Item something minus that, return that. Okay, so this is what we broke. So we broke something in this function so that it returns a 0 now when it's not meant to. It's meant to return something other than 0. Like one of these actually. Let's take a look at the original code and see if we can figure out what happened. Evolution X. This is C++, and then we have, I'm sorry for the white screen here. I think it's in player, right? Player or something? Engine. Yeah, inv.h, and then we have paste inv, or check inv paste, yeah. That's the one. And what we had here was the following. Okay, yeah, this looks a lot different to what we had before, doesn't it? Oh, it's because it's using like 4 spaces here, so 4 or 8 spaces. That's why it looks a lot bigger than than it did. So item location. This is what we should have. Yeah, where's this else thing gone? It's here. Check overlapping items. All right. Ah, okay. So we've already done this. Check that item we passing only overlaps with one item. Yeah. Okay. So we've done this, and it's fine. But the issue is here, right? Let's see why. So when we do something like this, it's going to go in here. So in this case, it's supposed to slot minus this, and then okay, so basically, no, this is already too late. This is already too late because we want to make sure that the IT or the item variable gets properly calculated, which is here, right? No, where is it? There you go. Let's try again. Am I just not calling this? No, it can't be, right? It can't be. So this is called if some function item is unequipable. Yeah, if the item is unequipable, then it calls that. Okay, and if the player is gold, no, I think that's actually correct. Let's put a breakpoint here anyway. So this is where we calculate it, maybe IT. So it takes 0 here, cell number is that. And then it returns 0. But it's not meant to be 0. Yeah, so it's not meant to be 0. It's meant to be changing somewhere else. Where is it meant to be changing at? So IT is here. Yeah, so this gold has a thing where it checks. Oh, okay, so check here. An else statement. Ah, yeah, this is what we're not returning basically. So check overlapping items is also supposed to return IT. Yeah, so that's what we're missing here. So we do check, we do change IT. If you look into here, wait, why is this defined in the first place? Yeah, it's passed in here. So yeah, let's change this as well. So we do a const unt reference here, and we're going to return a std optional of, what is it? Int AT. Yeah. You know what I just remembered? I need to write a new blog post. I tried making a blog for almost 2 years ago. A blog post almost 2 years ago. Made 2 posts and forgot about it. Yeah. Oh, dude, me too, man. I have an entire blog post, which, believe it or not, actually gives me more money than the YouTube channel. But writing, you know, writing is difficult and it takes a lot of time. But yeah, if you're interested in looking at some quality blog posts here, take a look at my blog as well, mattgomez.com. I need to start again, man, because like every little thing that we do on streams, if I do a write-up of it, I would get so many like views on my blog, especially the Golang things. So like, if I do an article on how to integrate Temple with Golang, or what was it, Tailwind with Golang, that article would blow up so much, and it's just the time, man. I mean, if you want to help me out, Carlos, I'll give you all the money for it, dude. All the money that you get for your blog posts. But yeah, I usually get like maybe a couple of pounds every month or something from adverts. It's not too much. But yeah, let's return now. So we return. So we have IT here, or I guess it'll be int 8t. Okay, that should fix things now, right? I hope. So yeah, let's fix this out. Obviously, when we're calling that function that we just changed, so and then we can say that if we don't have anything useful here, so maybe overlapping item, then we return, and else we kind of, now this is where we kind of want to put one of these so we don't get too confused about which code we're implementing. And we want to do something like item something is simply maybe overlapped item here. Right, I believe that should fix it now, guys. So let's see if we fixed it. Can I please get a heart emoji on the chat, please? That would be nice. Carlos, you know what? I just remember. Oh yeah, I've read that one. I found your blog when I first found your channel. I found your channel when you were streaming the first Golang CMS video. Nice, dude. Thank you. yeah, I mean the Golang CMS video was kind of like just random as hell, to be honest. I think on the day I didn't really know what to stream, and I was kind of bored of doing some C++ and Rust, so I was like, yeah, let's do some Golang. And that was the first video, the first stream I ever did that got more than 2,000 views. So it was, I guess a little bit lucky. So yeah. I see you guys put the heart emojis a bit too soon there. I haven't fixed it yet. Let's see. Let's see if I fixed it. Right, so the problem was this, right? Boom. So did it fix it? Let's see. Yeah, it did, boys. Let's go. So like, if we do just one item, there you go. Hearts for luck. There you go. We fixed it again, guys. We broke it, but we fixed it, and it doesn't work. It still doesn't work, obviously, when you have two items, because that's the game. The game does that initially, so we don't want to change that anyway. But yeah, thank you for the heart emojis. We fixed it. I'm fairly confident that this works overall now. I mean, let's take a look at what we've done actually. So like, we've gone from this function here, which has now got about 73 lines, you know, not ideal. We probably want less than 50, right? We've gone to that function from something like this. So look, this is the whole function. This is what it was before. There. So this had what? How many lines? 329 to 361. So literally like, is it 329 or 2? Yeah, so 260 lines to 60. So let's go. And now it's actually a lot easier to read. I mean, if I give it to one of you guys, you probably be able to figure out what this function's kind of doing, right? So this is a lot better. I'm gonna say it's a lot better. There is still one thing we need to do until I'm happy and we can push this PR, which is giving this function a good name, because we know it does something to do with the items here. We don't know what it does with the items, yeah. So that's the problem here. Bro, I'm playing Minecraft music. Let's not do that. So yeah, let's ponder on this a little bit. Let's see if we can figure out a little bit more about this function and if we can give it a good name, right? So first of all, when is this getting called? This is getting called in here when the item location. So when you're placing the item in the inventory. When you're placing the item in the inventory, this function gets called, right? That's actually how I learned code. Learn the syntax, then read code until I understood what I need to do. It's a good way to learn. I mean, that's one of the things that most people miss out, I think, today, because like no one's really interested in reading code that someone else has written and trying to kind of truly understand it and make improvements on it, right? Refactoring it. I find it extremely useful to do that because one, I get to, you know, learn different coding styles from different people, and that's always a good thing. And two, it's a good way to learn how to think differently because someone else is going to write different code to you, right? And sometimes that's worse, sometimes that's better. But either way, you learn how to do kind of like the same thing in different ways. So it's always good to know that. Always good. I think, you know, to be honest, people in general just dread having to read code like this, where they actually have to get down and understand what something like, you know, this nested if inside if actually does, right? It is difficult. Let's not kid ourselves here. It is difficult, but you know, with a bit of hard work, you can always understand something like this. Carlos, I did it to understand the steps I need to do and what I need to do and when. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's very good, Carlos. You're doing it right. So, right. So that function, this function only gets called when it's an item going into the inventory. And what's the outcome of this? The outcome of this function may or may not go into this IT, right? So the IT variable gets the result from this function. And how is IT used? IT is used later on here. as in the change inventory item, and it's the second one, and it's the previous item. In fact, it's like a holder for, I guess, the ID of an item, right? This is what it is. It gets the ID of an item. But is this what this function calculates? Absolutely not. I don't think it's only doing that. That's the thing. So that's what we got to figure out. So yeah. Item cell begin. So the cell number is where in the inventory you're clicking on, basically, right? Yeah, so where in the inventory you're actually clicking on, if I'm not mistaken, right? What slot? What is slot? Slot is find the target under the cursor. Okay, yeah. So this is where in the inventory grid we're going to click on. Let me have a little break from this. King Hader, after 3 years of writing code, I became able to read any code and understand what it does. Yes, it just takes some time. Yeah, King Hader, it takes some time, dude. I mean, it takes years, as you said, yeah. It takes years of practice, years of actually doing it to be able to be, you know, a good programmer, in a sense that you can basically do any task that you're given, right? So it's quite a lot of practice. So yeah. So this is the cell number, is the cell number in the inventory where you're trying to put the item, basically. Let's put it that way. And if where you're trying to put the item, oh, this is if it's a gold item, by the way. Yeah, if it's a gold item, then where you're trying to put the item matters, yes, because if it's not 0, what does it do? What does it actually do? Placing your gold item into the grid somewhere. Yeah. So if you're holding some gold and you try to put it, hey, let's try this out. Let's try this out, shall we? So maybe we can kind of debug this and see what happens. That's another thing as well for you guys, Carlos and King Hader. Debugging is extremely useful if you want to get better at reading code, because you can kind of read something and understand it to a certain point. And I think the human brain only has something like 5 or 6 registers available to it. So you can essentially remember like 4 things very well, or 5 things, you know, medium, or 6 things very badly. But if you're debugging, you don't need to track what each variable is holding. You can just see the values straight away and you can see the flow of the code. So it's a much better tool when it comes to learning what a particular bit of code is doing, right? And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna debug again. And we're gonna move, what is it? This logic only happens when you're putting a gold item into the inventory that has an item already in it, right? So we'll see what happens there. So we have our gold here, and this is it. I put a gold where, you know, one of my capes was. It's a lot of log.println for me. yeah, Carlos, but you know, that's still not as good as a debugger, man. So I think you should use it. I think you should use Delve if you do Golang. Delve is the way to go, man. Being able to step through your code, being able to change values on the go is just so much better, man. I can't explain this. Just trust me, take my word for it. It's a lot better. The only thing I hate is that you can do the same thing in more than one way, and then you have to think about which method is the best. Yeah, that's true, King Hader. Usually that's the one. But you know, most of the time you don't have to worry about it. You just get something done straight away. My mentality is the following: you have a task, and you do it in a very simple way first. You get something working, and if you have problems with performance, if you have problems with readability of code, then you do something about it. Then you change the way you do it. But you know, if you want to be like a practical software engineer, and an efficient one for that matter, you're always going to do the simplest thing you can think of first, and that's just the way it is, right? That's you know, don't worry too much about writing something that's perfect, because no one does that. And you only have to write something that's perfect when it's a bottleneck for your software. So yeah, always go for the simple shit. I say this a lot and I'm going to keep saying it. Just always do the simplest shit that you can think of. Yeah, so we've got a gold and we've got the cell number, which isn't, cell number is 22. In grid on 22, what is that? 22 is 4, right? So we have a 4. And that's not a 0, so we're going to do here. So cell begin. Wait, what the hell? Out of interest, like, I'm putting the gold on the, I guess that would be the bottom left, right? So where, so we have 2 by 3. 2 by 3, let's see what this is. So cell 22. So which cell should we actually have here out of interest? Because I expect them all to be the same. So for this bow here that I'm like moving the item onto, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, like the overlap. Wait, can you actually see that? Let me know if you can see the game now, because I'm on the preview window here on Windows, and I hope that's showing up on the stream. But anyway, we're on the bottom left. So the actual cell grid that I'm on is 0, 2, and then 3 and 4, and then 13, 3 and 4, 13 and 14, and then 23. Oh, I guess, yeah, 0, 1, yeah, there's 2 and 4, sorry, 2 and 3, 12 and 13, and then 22 and 23, right? Those are the items here. I agree, just the game. Thank you, Kincaid. That's what I was showing anyway, because this inv grid here is an array that holds all that inventory that you were seeing on the screen there. So positions, is it 2 and 3, right? That's what we're looking for, 2 and 3. 12 and 13, and 22 and 23 are all the same item, right? So these all hold the same ID for the same item. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, this is not 0, and we get the cell number here for the inv grid. So that should be a -4. Wait, what? No, it's a 4, yeah. So if it is more than 0, so if it's a positive one, what does this do? So the inventory list of cell begin -1 isn't type iGold, which it isn't, right? So the cell begin -1 would be where my other, I'm not sure if you guys can see there on the gold, but to the left of that, we have an armor, right? We have an armor, which basically means that the type isn't gold, right? So item something is going to be cell begin. It's going to be 4. Cool. Can I drop some gold? Because something special happens though. Something really special happens if the item to the left of that is a gold item. For some reason. Yeah, so we get 4 there out of all this stuff. And I guess because gold is only like a one size kind of thing, we don't have to do this. We don't have to check for overlaps, because we know we overlaps exactly 1 item at the very most, right? So yeah. That's cool. But what did it do? It just swapped my... Yeah, it just swapped my item up with that. Now that's cool. It's good to say that if it's 0, there's no item in there, what does it do? Yeah, it returns 0. So if there's no item, it just places the item as we expect, right? However though, can I drop some gold?
I can't cast that here.
There you go. So I've got 2 golds now, right? And what I'm trying to do is this. So I've got some gold here and some gold there. Something happens, something very special happens, as I said, when you place the gold item and there's a gold item to it. So if I place it here, you can see that there is a gold item next to it. So let's see what happens here, because I'm not sure. So we're going to go in here, checking the grid. This is not going to be 0 because there's an item in there, and it's 4, right? I believe. Or whatever it is. Oh, it's 1 now. Never mind, it swapped to 1. And then the cell begin. Again, let's see where we're actually putting the stuff. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. This is 3 and 4. So 3, 4 should be the same, right? 3 and 4. Oh, maybe not. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1. Oh, there you go. Sorry, 4 and 5. And then we have 14, 15, and 24, 25. They're all the same, right? All the same, because it's the same item. And that one represents the ID for, I guess, the cape that I have there. But this is interesting. So the item on the left is a gold item, so it shouldn't run this, right? Wait, so where's cell begin? In the list of cell begin. -1, so inv list of 0, the I type is not gold. What is invs? What is inv list? Ah, alright, I see. So there's inventory grid. Inventory grid holds the ID that goes inside of the item that goes inside the inv list, right? So for example, what did we have here? We had that 4, there you go, -1. So I say that inv list 1 is going to be the cape, is that correct? Let's have a look. Do we have the name or something? Item quantity magic, there you go, I class armor, location helmet. Right? Maybe I'm just wrong here. So that's my theory anyway. It holds the I name. There you go, cap of magic. That is not right though. That is not right at all, is it? Yeah, it should have been a bow there. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Let's do that again. So if we have that, we're gonna go on the... Let's put this over here somewhere. Actually, let's drop that. Let's put the gold here. And then this here. And now we place the gold in here. So it is a gold. So inventory grid, what does that give us back? That gives us back 5. Why? Because we have an item here. 5, so 12, 13 is 5. But what does that -5 give us though? Inventory grid of 5 in here. So 5 minus 1. My name is Buckler of Fawns. And this is light armor, high class armor. We have rags here. I don't understand this. Like, where is my bow? Bow is on 3. This is crazy. Like, what is this actually giving me? So I type is bow, miscellaneous, helmet, gold. So my bow is actually on position 3, right? And there's no more bows in my inventory. Light armor, shield. And then we have, what is that name? Rags down here. And then we also have more gold, as you can see. And then, what else do we have? What's the name for this? There's no name on this one. Alright, these are all empty items anyway. Seems from the looks of it. But yeah, I mean, cell begin inventory grid where my cell number is, which is 22, gives me back this number 5 here. But I don't know how number 5 is then linked into the inv list. This is interesting. I mean, we can only look at the code that's putting these things into the inventory to try and figure out what this is doing, because I still have a lot of questions basically. Change item name, there you go, change inventory name. So if we look for player.invList here, which is in quite a few places actually. So let's say it's not gold, right? If it's not gold, what actually happens here? Let's just try to understand it a little bit. If the previous item there was 0, so that if there's no item in there, we set the inventory list to the pnum inventory. Player pnum inventory to the hold items. What the? So this clearly tracks the number of items in the inventory. Is this like a circular buffer? Is that what it is? Am I just misunderstanding this? It looks like a circular buffer. And the previous item is going to be pnum. Where's prev it? So it adds all those items to the grid. Let's see, inventory grid, items position in inventory. This should be the item's top left grid tile. Top left grid tile. That is making me... This is making me more confused, you know, guys. Let's see what happens when we put an item in, shall we? So let's debug this and see again. So I have that, and I'm going to put it right here, right the booklet. Some function name, we don't care, and then change inventory item. It's not gold, so it's not going to go through this, but it will go through here. The previous one is 0. So the inventory name was pnum inventory. So there's 6 of them. This is saying that we have 6 items now, right? Now where is p grid item? Oh, sorry, where's player inventory list or whatever there? So we have 6. Yeah, we have 6. Actually, we have 7 items. I don't understand why. Oh no, never mind. It's 0 to 5. Yeah, that's correct. And the last one was what? This one. This is a cape, right? So the inventory list of my 7th item, my 6th item will be the player to hold item.pop. So whatever I'm holding is going to go into inventory list 6 now, right? So this was put in here. We have a shield here. But what happened to the previous shield? That's what I'm wondering here. So inv list of the previous item. Kind of distracted playing some Catum at the moment. That's alright, dude. I mean, all I need is the like, man. If you drop that like, I appreciate it, dude. But yeah, enjoy your time, dude. It's a Friday, innit? It's a Friday. Just make sure you're enjoying yourself, one way or another. What is this song? Looks like a child's. Oh, it's Mario. Anyway, it is for children. What I like about game songs is that we don't really get copyright strikes for game songs because they're not copyright strike. They are DCMA free. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, but the problem is, what happens to the previous shield? That is what I'm wondering. So we do player num and then previous item. And that is now 7. So we're gonna add 7 to it. So basically this is saying that we have... I still think this is kind of like a circular buffer, I don't know. Is it correct? So wherever we had a shield here, we don't have a shield anymore in here. Right. Yeah, still confused. This is the slot we're going to add it to, the player itself, the item size, and the player equals my player. Send network message. So if it's my player, we send a network message. Let's go into this and see what happens. So this is just gonna add that number 6 here to the... What's a circular buffer? A circular buffer is like a physical array, right? So if you think about this as let me get Zernum out. That would be a good idea. Yeah. Maybe I can explain this to you a little bit better. So in programming, actually, let me give you a little lesson. There you go. I just gotta get my tablet out because I thought I would use it today at some point, right? So it's basically a type of array, right? It's a type of an array that you can get if you have like limited data. I'll explain how it works. So in languages, in programming languages, right? Any of them actually, there's a concept of an array where you have something like, like this array, or a list, also known as a list, I guess, a contiguous list, or a vector, right? Actually, no, these are different things. Like usually a list refers to some sort of like linked list or something like that. A vector refers to a bit of memory that can grow and shrink, and an array is usually like a fixed size buffer, right? Well, let's just focus on the array now. So if you have an array called A here, it usually has a space in memory, so something like that. You know, and let's say this has like n items on it, right? N items here. So what can you do to this? So you can kind of do something like, A0 equals 1, right? And then you're setting this value here to 1 now. And you can do the same thing for the second one and set it to 2, and so on and so forth, right? But a circular buffer is, you know, you take the same idea here of an array, but you add a few pointers to it, right? So you add the head, usually called the head, I think, and the size. The size is how long it is. So essentially, instead of having to use a vector where you can grow and shrink data to add more stuff, you can allocate a fixed size array and then slowly add elements to it. So you have a beginning and an end, essentially. Such as, you know, if you were to add, you know, if you were to push, let's say, 1 to the array, it will look something like this. You know, your array is going to be 1 here, and then 0, 0, 0, you know, all the way up to the last one here. The size did not change, but, you know, your head and your size did change. So your head is now here, right? I guess your head is here, and then your size here is now 1, right? This previous thing here, the size was 0. I forgot to explain, but the size here was 0, right? So it's just an easy way for you to push and pop, I guess, or shrink things. So it's useful for when you have, like, I guess, you know, queue implementations or whatnot, where you need some sort of like physical, like fixed size arrays where you can dynamically push and pop things. If I'm explaining it right, that's what it should be, right? So let's look at here, circular buffer. So this is how they explain it. So you have a head and a tail, or a head and a size. They both work in the same way, and you only have like a fixed amount of elements here. Got it? So it kind of behaves in the same way as a vector in the sense that you can grow and shrink, but only up to however many elements you have in the array. Okay. And it's useful. It's very useful. It's very quick. Usually, it's a data structure that's very quick for you to store things in it, because you don't have to shrink or increase the number of elements. And is used in things, as I said, you know, I've seen it used as audio queuing, where you have like a audio data and you want to like queue up audio data and stuff. But yeah. So you can find all sorts of applications for it, but yeah. I really need to learn data structures and algorithms. Yeah, I mean, learn the ones that you come across, dude. I mean, it's not really a, like, if you ask me how many times I come across a circular buffer at my line of work, that number would be precisely 0. So I did learn it at uni, and I have played it with it in like interviews and stuff. That's the only time I ever get asked about things like this, by the way, in interviews. But when it comes to projects, and you hardly have to know this messed up algorithms like circular buffers, heaps. How does a heap work? Do you know what a heap is? That's another important one, apparently, that they teach you at uni, but you kind of never use. It is fun. It is fun to implement, but yeah. Anyway, so we have the item there, and then it's set the inventory grid list. What is that? What did it set here? The previous IT is the third one. 1, 2, and then 3. So we set all of them to this. V Santos, do you have any videos or help which contain Conan cross compilation? I don't think so, Santos, but it's definitely something I can do, mate. If you're interested, I'll make a video on it. In fact, I need to make a long form video this weekend, so who knows, maybe I'll do that. But the truth is, it's very, very simple to do cross compilation with Conan, though. You just have to set the correct compilers and the correct flags. It's not that difficult. But yeah. The only Conan video I have is the 30-minute video where I explain to you guys how to use Conan. And it doesn't have any cross compilation, I'm afraid. But yeah. Right. So cool. I mean, what is this actually setting? It's setting my inventory list all the way to this, right? So 7. But why did it do that? So if I put it here, inventory grid now has 7 in multiple places like that. 7, 7, 16, and 16, 17, and 26, and 27. Or maybe not. 6. Oh yeah, it's a booklet, right? It's a shield, so there's only 4 spaces. I still have the 6s there though. I still have the 6s here. Okay, so does that do anything? Like my 6s are still there. Right, let's try that again. So in other words, I drop all of these and I want to move this, which now, you know, these values here, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, sorry, 6, 7, and then 16 and 17 in the inventory grid have the value 7. But if I move it over here, what do we now have? So inventory grid, okay, so the function that's kind of selecting or holding the item must be removing those items, right, from the grid, which is fine. So the inventory list now, what do we have? So you've only got those items, helmet, miscellaneous, and then we've got no items here, so removed from the inventory list. Okay, cool. I mean, I kind of understand what this is doing now. Or do I? I got second or Catan. Shaking my head. What is Catan? I don't actually know what that is, dude. What is Catan? It's a board game. Are you playing like a board game online? Is that what you're doing, Carlos? That sounds fun though. Oh dude, is this a really messed up game that's really difficult to play? I think I've heard of it actually. I think my friends actually play it, but I always said no to it because I know it's too complicated, so. Yeah, online it's called Colonist. Ah, cool, cool. Super fun. Is it difficult? Is it actually difficult? Because I heard it is. I heard it's like one of the hardest board games you could play. So, right. It's not complicated. It's just learn how to play here in January. Cool, cool. So I guess it's time for me to give it a go at some point. So yeah, this dude, I've just been staring at this function for literally like the past maybe 20-30 minutes, and like I feel like it kind of makes sense sometimes, and sometimes it just doesn't. To me, this is kind of getting the previous item ID on the inventory. I think that's what it's doing. So the second item, second one. So if the previous ID isn't 0, which is here, inventory index. Yeah, it's just getting the previous. Yeah, what the hell? Why didn't we see this? It's getting the previous item, so get previous Actually, let's change this to get previous item ID. Or, yeah. That's what this is kind of doing. So we have found a better name for it. And I think I'm pretty happy now. I mean, a little bit better anyway than it was before. One of the things I'm not happy with is the addition of all these lines. I think that these lines here is kind of overkill. We don't need a location table. We can just calculate it at runtime. Carlos Gomez, I don't do much gaming here, to be honest, but I prefer something more challenging, so Colonist is a perfect fit for me. That's cool, dude. Yeah, I don't do much gaming either. I mean, I used to play, you know, just like MOBAs online. But with time now, with work, and that hardly ever happens, man. And with, you know, streaming and stuff, I prefer to actually, you know, spend time doing those things now. I don't know why, but yeah. So what I'm not happy with is this item location table. I think I'm going to remove this tomorrow. I am pretty happy with everything else though, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not completely happy with this. I mean, I feel like I should still, like, there's still a lot of like improvements here. I'm pretty sure there's code that's like just the same everywhere and being done over and over again. Yeah. So we get previous item ID. Now, if we remove all the codes and actually try to improve this a little bit more. Yeah, so this is kind of easy to do now. So if the item is unequipable, so IT remains anyway, right? So the item is unequipable when we only ever use it down here, right? And this is all const. Yeah, I mean, let's move this down. We can do that. Right, we're gonna go back to whatever we did at the start, which is like an else, an if here, and we're gonna say if the IL is not ilock unequipable. So if it's not an unequipable item and the desired location is not the same as IL, BRB time to mix. Alright, dude. Then we can return here. And then that means that we can, you know, say get this out of here, and we can just declare it wherever we actually have to use it, by the way. Because we're doing the same check a few times. So that will be down here. So unequipable, right? This is what we do it. Yeah. So in here, what we're gonna do, we know it's unequipable already, so we don't need this if check. And what we can do here is let me think of something. Get previous item ID was being done in here. So if it's So if it's none of, I can't use this. If it's an item the player can use and it's not going into the inventory or the bell. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave this here. I may have broken something here, but we'll figure it out. I mean, yeah, we can remove this. We can remove that as well. We can put this in here. Right, I think so. Let's build this and see now. A little bit better. We got rid of a few lines. Right, so cool. These branches will break if we run with an item that's going in the inventory. We'll figure out. Right, time of the truth. Are things still working? That's my question. Let's do a playtest here. Our own QA in. I broke something. So this is still playing the item. I'm not sure if you can hear that. It's still playing the item swap thing, even though it's not going to work. So that's what breaks, basically. There's nothing major that breaks. It's just that it plays the swap item sound. Even though I guess it's not meant to swap. So, but nothing majorly breaks, I'd say. Okay, yeah, we gotta figure out a way of doing this without playing the audio then. This is it. This is the audio that kind of breaks as well, by the way. Okay. I guess we could just move these lines up there. Not a problem. Where are we? Oh, here. Right? So we have these. Oh, okay, so but this can only... Okay. So if is unequipable now, and we don't have the previous location, what does that mean? If this throws an error, yeah, it can only do that when it overlaps this. Cool. This should be fixed now. We should see no more of the audio again. And once again, if this is fixed, you know, feel free to play the heart emoji. This is getting harder the more we do it. But I think we have it in a position where we can just maybe create the draft PR and then we can see what happens. Let's figure. Right, so we have this. There you go. I'm clicking on it and it's not playing the audio anymore, so we did fix it. It only plays the audio when we overlap with one item, so yeah. Yeah, Redemption, I was wondering, is there a reason why you pass in by reference the size of int is smaller as a pointer, which is OS? No, yeah, there's no reason. I mean, the only reason is that I can see where if the code I pasted into a big function is changing the value internally, really, because if I just pass an integer, you can still change that integer inside. But you know, for the finishing touches, I think it's better if we just pass the integer as a copy. So do you see what I mean? Because if I do something like this, I have this lot here, right? And this is getting, yeah, this is not getting, you know, changed anywhere. But what the code could do is something like this: slot is equals to -1, right? This is still valid. And if I just copied and pasted this code without seeing it, I wouldn't know it's getting changed. But if I did this instead, then I can see the error that's going to throw that's going to be thrown at me by the compiler that is getting changed here. It was just a way for me to see which values are getting changed inside the function, if it makes sense. The error redemption. That's it. But yeah, you are absolutely correct though. Like in the end, I should probably just pass the integer here. And same with all the uint 8s as well. So, which is what we're gonna do now, right? Let's do it. So it's a lot here. Change to layer. Yeah, makes absolute sense. Thanks for the explanation. No worries, dude. I mean, this is getting changed. See, if I did this with the player here, and I've just copied and pasted all these into one function, I can see straight away which bits are changing my player. So I can't make a const, basically, and I have to double understand, or understand it even more, what effect this function has on the player if I pass it in, because obviously it changes the player if it's passed in here. But yeah, in essence, it's never good practice to actually change your inputs So you see that some of these functions are changing the inputs. But the best thing to do is to, if you can do it in sort of like a functional way where you pass in a value and you return the same value but changed, right? Just because I find code easier to read that way, and it's easier for you to understand it if your code is written in sort of like a state machine format, right? So you give an input and it's kind of deterministic, you know, this is the output you should get for this input kind of thing. But if I'm just calling a function, I don't know if my parameters are getting changed, and that, you know, it kind of sucks in that perspective. Even the size here, this size is probably bigger than a pointer because it has a bunch of shit in here, or maybe not. Maybe I can copy it. Yeah. So yeah, let's polish it up now. So all the functions that have like references, and they are, you know, const player here is fine. I'm gonna leave that const player. But everything else, like the size here, we can probably just pass in the size as well and copy it. And the same with the int 8 over here. And what else? You know, const int here too. And yeah, I think that's basically it. I'm gonna just create a PR now. I think we've got a start. So what happens is, like, I'm gonna create this PR, and then Anders, which is the guy who, I guess one of the main maintainers, is gonna look at it and be like, this is shit, so this is what we can change. And yeah, that's completely fine for me. I would like to see some commentary on certain bits of the code that I didn't quite understand. Although I have a pretty good idea of what this is doing now, of what this is doing, there is still like a lot of functions, a lot of code here that, you know, looks alien to me. But at least we were able to give better names to these, you know, some of the code that was just, you know, blowing your mind up. But yeah, let's create a PR now, shall we? Okay, I'm gonna push this to my branch. There you go. And we're gonna go to GitHub, Mateus and Evolution X, and then we should have a pull request already in here, which is good, right? Let's look at the changes. We've got 3 change files, so you can probably guess I'm not gonna commit this again. Like, this is just a change that we made to have more money in the game, right? So the player data, and also the towners, we're going to change this. So let's do that. So let's first of all look at the commits and see if we can like linearize this, right? So we have 3 commits here, and let's begin by rewriting this history, right? So this is a good lesson for you guys if you're trying to learn some Git. You have like a bunch of changes, and you can see that, you know, some of your commits say the same thing, right? And in fact, some of the commits that you've made actually do the same thing, but, you know, to different bits of code, and you realize that you should have done it all in one commit. You can rewrite history. You can, in this case, you can do something like git rebase -i head, and then you can say how many commits you want to consider, which is head tilde 3. So head tilde 3 gets the latest commit, and then the 3 commits including that head. one as well, right? So you do this, and you're gonna get to this nice editor if you have Vim, or it's gonna be like Nano if you don't have Vim. And in here you can choose all the options that you want. So like you wanna basically pick the commits you wanna keep, and either squash or fix up the other commits. So fix up, which is option F, this will simply kind of get rid of the of the commit message and then squash it, put all the changes from this commit here into this commit here, right? We kind of don't want to get rid of the message, we want to squash it, and I'll show you why in a bit, because this is going to keep the message and it's going to ask you to edit the message. We're going to do the same for the other one here, and we're going to keep this one here. So we're going to merge, these two commits here into the first one, right? And we're going to change the message as we do that as well. So here we go. And my message is just going to be kept as this here. You know, you can ignore the comments there. I had 75 commits on the project because I was trying to deploy a Golang web app to Verso. I still haven't figured it out. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, you need to, you know, clean up your history, dude. Once you do that, by the way, guys, once you know you've successfully rebased, interactive here, which is what this option is. By the way, this option is called rebase interactive. So once you've successfully rebased interactive, you can do a git push force release, and you're going to have to force because you've essentially you've changed the commits, right? You changed the tree of your git. But if you do force release, that's going to make sure that you can safely force it. Kind of safely force it. That means that, you know, if someone else is working on the same branch as you, you're not going to force push your changes onto their changes and get rid of their changes, basically. I never understood rebase. So rebase, you know, long story short, rebase is a way of rewriting history, dude. So yeah, it's a way of changing the commits. But if you look at my git now, I have one commit here, and it's there. But I'm not done yet. I want to remove the changes from player date and towners. So we're going to do that very simply as well. So git checkout, I think is main, right? Is main the main repository? The main branch? Yeah, master. So we're going to check out from master these files here. So what are the source? Yeah, towners. So we're going to check out source. We're going to check out towners as well, and you can see that we basically reset the changes. So whatever we had in the master branch, we have it here now, and we can commit. You can do a test commit, and again we're going to rewrite the other commit. I like doing that anyway. I mean, you don't have to. So I'm just going to include it all in the same commit basically, and it kind of looks like I've done it all in one commit. So nice and easy, right? Nice and easy. And if I look back at my pull request, you can see that I have now just one file changed here, and it's the one that actually matters, right? And still I have a few things that I want to, like, I don't want to include this. So I'm going to leave this here. The map, again, don't need this because we didn't use it in the end. So there's just changes that we kind of made at the start and then left it there without removing. But anyway, so let's look at what the change actually looked like, shall we? So can we look side by side? Configuration, there you go, split. Apply and reload. This is a useful thing for you guys if you're looking at changes on GitHub. You can do side by side, which for me, it looks a little bit better when you have massive code changes than unified. Unified is good when you have like 1 or 2 line differences and then a bunch of other code and then 1 or 2 line differences. But we've changed quite a bit of code, so it's easier for you to do it this way. For example, so you can see here, so check inf paste. This, we removed all of these lines, and it kind of just looks like this now. Where are we? Check 2-hand items, change inf paste. So change inf paste is, you know, looks like this. So this here. Oh no, that's the wrong function. So where is it? Okay, yeah. So you can see that check inf paste is now this green bit here. And you can kind of follow it now, right? You get the item size here, and then you get the item location, and then if it's, you get the previous item in the place, if it's an item that's going to go in the inventory. We probably want to remove this, and we also want to remove this as well. But you know, it looks a lot easier than what it was before. Like, look at the size of this compared to what it is now. It's much easier to follow the logic now. So yeah, I'm going to review my changes. I'm going to post it here because I'm probably going to have to redo some of the stuff tomorrow. But I am fairly happy with this. And we are running. Okay, so we do have... Yeah, I was wondering if the actions are going to work. I mean, it's probably going to fail, to be honest. It's going to fail because I haven't run Clang format, for example. So I need to run Clang format. You can see here that's already kind of giving me some warnings and stuff. And yeah, I need to style it in the same way as they're kind of styling. And let's see what failed here. So the build failed. Why did it fail? We don't have an error. Why did it fail though? Yeah, I have no idea why it failed. But we can figure it out. There you go, fatal ranges file not found. So this is because we included the header from C++23, and I'm probably guessing that the PS4 build here, the build for the PS4, is not set to that standard. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night now. Day of Redemption. Good night, Matt. I've used rebase multiple times, but I've never never used it interactive. We'll definitely include it in my daily work. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, first of all, thank you, Day of Redemption, and I hope you have a good evening, dude. And yeah, we'll see you some other day, dude. Take care. Yeah, have a good weekend. But I'm also gonna call it a night, guys. So like, it's been good today. It's been productive, more productive than the previous streams. And we'll see you all next time. Now, have a good weekend and bye bye. Cheers, Carlos. Bye bye.